can't close the show without talking about the Grieving Families Act. And I know that this is dear to your heart. And from what I have read in your veto message and in editorials, is that this is something that you want to happen, yet vetoed. Can you explain, and if you just talk a little bit about the Grieving Families Act,
of course,
and then why the veto?
This basically opens up a whole new class of people who can recover damages in a courtroom if something happens to them. If there's, the way it's written right now, if there's, someone dies in surgery in a hospital and it's a child or an older person, usually they base the recovery on how much income that person earns or their values. So, there'll still be court cases, there'll still be litigation, but there's an effort by the trial lawyers basically to expand this. But also it does have an effect on every single person in our state because it'll raise insurance premiums. The insurance companies are looking at this closely, and their costs of coverage for hospitals like ECMC, critical place here in the city of New York, their insurance premiums will go up dramatically to cover the additional costs of these malpractice lawsuits. Every business, every family, every government will have to pay more in insurance premiums. My concern is the system-wide, statewide impact of increasing those costs when insurance is one of the big drivers of costs in the state right now. Now, that being said, when you take a case like what happened to the families, the victims of the 10 people massacred at Tops here in 2022, this is something that still rips my heart apart when I think about what happened that day. It came immediately, and I stayed and I stayed and I stayed, and I try to do whatever I can to comfort families, hug them, love them, tell them they're not alone. But I cannot imagine the searing pain that they're going through. So I care deeply about these families. What I wanted was the trial lawyers over the last few years to come back to me and say, we'll accept the compromise. I would have supported a plan that would recover damages for these families. When there is a mass shooting, I believe that the family should be able to recover from the manufacturer, whoever they want to go after.
Absolutely.
Even if it's an older person who may not have a job where you can say, well, they're worth $100,000 a year. That should not be the judge of someone's life. And I believe that to my core.
I'm really glad to hear you say that, because so many people haven't heard you say it, but to say this is something you support, but you want some changes to protect people in the long haul. That's so important.